right, how's everyone doing today? Well, I'd like to start and thank each and every one of you for coming out today. And before we get started, I'd like to make a special dedication to someone who passed away recently, my uncle, who truly demonstrated what it takes to persevere. You are not good enough. You'll never make it. You should just give up. We've all heard these words in one form or another in times of difficulty, sometimes from others and other times from ourselves. But the true difference isn't the degree or severity of our circumstances, but rather in what we choose to do when faced with life's challenges, whether that means to give up or to persevere. Today, if you'll allow me to, I'd like to share 3 personal experiences of hardships I've faced that made me decide I wanted to be someone who chooses to persevere. And with whatever you're going through, whatever you've been through, and whatever you may face tomorrow, I hope there's something you can take away from my message. Now, let me get a show of hands. How many of you have heard of Stockton? All right, that's more than I practiced to count. Well, for those of you who don't know about Stockton, or if the picture doesn't paint itself, Stockton was dubbed the second most dangerous city in California, known for its skyrocketing gang violence, plethora of foreclosure rates, and very limited opportunities, especially those concerning advancing into higher education or entering the job market. But for many people, like me and my loved ones, this was home. And this hardship is important to me in particular because it taught me that no matter how limited my resources may seem, that I am not defined nor affected by my circumstances. And I'll never forget the day that my life took a shift on an ordinary Saturday afternoon. I was wondrously shopping at the mall when I happened to bump into my former middle school teacher, Miss Smith. Miss Smith and I were catching up on our daily lives when she later on informed me that she took on a new role at a local high school called Middle College. Middle College, she explained, was a program geared to give high school students the opportunity to take community college courses to advance into university. She urged me to apply. However, naturally, I was hesitant at first. After all, I wanted nothing to do with Stockton, let alone be tied down to it for another 4 years. However, 4 years down the line, I not only graduated with my high school diploma, thank goodness, but 6 associate degrees that allowed me to graduate university a whole year early. Now, this may or may not be significant to some of you, but for those of you who have grown up in disadvantaged communities, filled with negativity and resistance to change, getting into university was a huge milestone in creating a change in our lives. And I invite you, whatever situation that may seem impossible, to consider seeing every opportunity, big or small. Which leads to my next hardship. I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed upon entering university. Little did I know I was about to get rejected left to right by various recruiters at my first university career fair as a freshman. Here's what it looked like. These recruiters told me to come back when I was older or had more experience. And I hated them. And for those of you who have faced rejection, you probably hate recruiters too. Actually, let me get a show of hands. How many of you are willing to admit that you hate recruiters? That's okay, because Google search seems to agree. Well, the funny thing is, I now work for recruiting, and I love it. Anyways, after months and months of disgruntledness, I decided to use my negative energy and harness it to do something productive. So as I was going through yet another generically written rejection email from a recruiter that read, "Dear blah, 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 thank you for applying a blah, blah, blah position," I forced my hand to hover over the reply button instead of yet again deleting the email, and contemplated what to do instead of yet again deleting the email. And what I did was something so simple that I was astounded by the magnitude of its results. And this simple advice is what I continuously advise my peers today who seek career guidance. And it's to communicate. I ask recruiters, what can I do to improve my resume? Or what skills would make me a good candidate for your position? And 3 years down the line, with accumulated advice from various recruiters in different industries, I walked across my university stage with 3 full-time offers from distinguished companies. Now, I say this not to boast, but to inform you that a lot of these milestones do come at a cost. And I invite you, with whatever situation you may be in that may seem impossible, to consider being creative. And as I inch toward my last hardship, I'd like to ask that you all close your eyes and envision a hardship you're going through right this very moment, even if it's my talk. And how it makes you feel. Because this is real. And to be honest, as I talk to you today, I'm still figuring this out. Because it's adjustment. It's moving from city to city, across the state, across the coast, for better opportunities. And I'd like to pause to commend each and every one of you for going near and far to pursue your dreams. Because as glamorizing as it seems to be moving around so frequently, it can be terrifying at times, adjusting to new jobs, new friends, new cultures. It truly is the art of being comfortable in such an uncomfortable space, seeking opportunities, adjusting to change, and seeing failure as a means for growth. And although I've met awesome people throughout this journey, the most important relationship I found was the relationship I built with myself foremost. And so I invite you, with whatever transitions you'll face in life, to consider starting inwardly and see how that will change your outward world. And as I come to a conclusion with my talk, I'd like to summarize with characteristics of people who have persevered with diagrams. The first diagram is of a person who tends to not persevere. People who tend to not persevere tend to have what you call a fixed mindset. They find success at point X in getting over their hardship and are content at that point. However, consequently, they don't tend to see other unanticipated hardships to come along in life. People who do persevere, in contrast, have what you call an open mindset. These individuals find success in not getting over their hardships, but going through all hardships, knowing that life doesn't get any easier. We just become more adaptable to hardships the more we encounter them. After all, hardships are fair. Hardships don't discriminate, and hardships are inevitable, meaning no matter who you are, what your status is, or what you do, you're likely to face hardships in your life. And with that, they say that we are the average of the 3 people we hang out with the most. So surround yourself with scholars, with optimists, and with dreamers, and see how that will transform your life. And be those people to others as well. Because after all, you are more than enough. You will go so far, and you should never give up. Thank you.